Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to do a little comfort upgrade on the old black fatty there. We're going to be putting on a new seat, but of course, before we do, we've got to look at a viewer bike. And this is Brad from Kentucky's 2008 Heritage Softail Classic. This is a 103 cubic inch stage 2. DK Customs Performance Air Cleaner, oil cooler, 18-inch apes, daymakers with visors, smoked lenses, rider spring footboards, passenger footboards, luggage rack. It's also got a hitch for a trailer, and of course, lots of that chrome. But anyway, thank you, Brad, or Tank, for sending this in. And if anyone out there would like to see their bike in a video, send me a picture. My email address is in the description to this video. Okay, so we're going to do a new seat on the Fatboy, and I'm sure the first words that you're thinking are Corbin, Saddleman, LaPera, all good companies. However, I did not go with any of those. I did actually go with Harley Davidson, but probably not what you're thinking. So this is what I have gone to. Now, for any of you who are familiar with the seat or perhaps watched my review of the Breakout, this is actually a stock 2004 Breakout seat. Now you may ask, why in the hell would I do that? First of all, I just like the look of it. It's low profile. It's got the little Harley badging on it, but also it's more comfortable than the stock Harley seat. And that was a big one. When I went out to the dealership, actually to do my last review video on the Sportster, there's a Fatboy and a Breakout sitting side by side. And I just asked them, hey, can we just switch the seats on these things just to see what they look like, because they are compatible. And we did that. It looked good. There was no issue. I sat on it. It felt good. So I actually ordered one up, went with it. We're going to install it. But first, we're going to have a look at kind of the differences between this seat and the stock Fatboy seat and what you're going to run into with this one. Okay, here are two seats together. We got the Fatboy, we got the Breakout. And the first thing you're going to notice is the shape of these. You've got at the front, that Fatboy has a more tapered front to it, whereas the Breakout does not. But when you come to the back, the Breakout is a little bit slimmer in the back, whereas the Fatboy is a little fatter. Now, the other thing you're going to notice about these is this Fatboy is very smooth on here, where this is almost a little bit of a, I almost call it a bucket style seat. So when you look at these two and you're going to give her a little juice, you're going to slide off this seat a lot more than you're going to slide off that one. Another thing about these, this is a very firm seat, which is probably why it's so uncomfortable on longer rides. This one, it's much more pliable. It's almost bouncy. It's very nice. I also have to say I do like the styling of the Breakout over the Fatboy. Another thing you're going to notice if you get on these seats is that with this seat being a little bit wider in the front, you're going to feel this a little more on your thighs than you do with this one. So you're going to, when you put your feet down, you're going to spread out a little bit more than on this one. Also, the Fatboy is a rounded edge, whereas this one is not. And you're going to notice it. It's not going to be a big thing, but it is definitely noticeable. Now, another big thing with these two seats is they are both low profile. However, the Breakout seat is going to sit you probably about an inch lower, and it's also going to probably sit you about 1.5 to 2 inches further back. Now, for me, it's not an issue. I kind of have longer limbs. I'm about 6 feet tall. Didn't bother me at all. But when you ride a breakout, you will notice you have to kind of reach for those bars. It's not as big a deal on the Fatboy because the handlebars on the Fatboy are lower and they've got a little bit more of a pullback to them. So it's not a big deal if you're if you're a little bit taller, gangly guy, it's not going to be a problem. But if you're a shorter limbed person, you may notice it a lot more. So keep that in mind. Now, one other thing, and I haven't actually heard too many people mention this when they're talking about seats, and that is suspension. And the reason I say that is that the breakout seat, as I said, sits you lower and further back. That's going to put you further back over that back wheel. And I definitely noticed when I took it out for the first ride that I felt the bumps a lot more when I had this seat on it. Because like I said, lower, further back. So you may want to just kind of adjust your the preload on your rear suspension just to kind of set it up a little bit better, because you will feel the bumps just a little bit more with that breakout seat over the Fatboy. Okay, everybody, here we have our stock Fatboy seat, and it is not a bad looking seat, not a lot to it, but I can tell you this seat on these Fatboys are not that comfortable. After about 30 to 40 minutes on this seat on the highway, I am starting to butt scoot quite a bit. I'm shifting around, and I thought enough of that. So first thing we're going to do, take this bad boy off, which is not going to take very long. This is a two-part seat, rider, passenger pillion. This one, we've got our little bolt there. Be very careful, you don't want to slip and damage any paint. And this will come off very easily. There we go. And from here, we are simply going to pull that off. And there you go. That's the pillion done. Now to get off the old solo rider seat, pretty easy. Just these two basically nuts, if you want to call them that. Just unscrew those off. They're just finger tight. Now, all we have to do is just lift this up and pull back, and we are off. And as you can see, not much to this seat. It's just got this little guy here that slides right in there, nothing to it, and we got the seat off. While we got the seat off, you can see in here what we got, our monoshock. And if you're ever wondering where the tuner plugs in on a bike like this, it's right there. Anyway, let's get to putting the new one on. Okay, folks, now we are going to put on our new breakout seat, and we are going to try and make sure that we align this guy right in there, because if we do not, we're going to have a nice little gap between this here lip and your gas tank. So, bear with me here. There we go. Now this can sometimes be a pain in the butt a little bit. There we go, got those in. Not too bad, but these actually do slide around a little bit when they are loose. It's a matter of twisting these guys on. Get the other one out if I can. Pretty easy install, folks. Definitely don't need to be a master tech for this. Give that a little bit over, and we're installed. Voila! So before we do our final little walk around, just to see what it looks like all the way around, you'll notice I only have the rider seat. I did not get the passenger pillion, at least not yet anyway. Very rarely do I have a passenger that I have to worry about having a seat for. So if I need it, I can put it on. But if you are wondering and you're in a pinch, the stock Fatboy pillion will fit on there easily as well. So you can use it if you want. Obviously, it's going to look a little mismatched, but you can use it, or I can throw the whole Fatboy seat back on if I have a passenger, blah, blah, blah. Now you'll see you have this plastic film on the fender. That is to keep the paint from scratching with that passenger pillion. There are aftermarket companies that will sell a fender bib to cover that up if you want something a little nicer there. Also, you've got your little bolt there. You can get something more decorative for that too, if you prefer. So there she is on the bike. As we can see, it's a nice low profile there. Come around to the back. That's what she looks like. Not a bad looking seat all in all. Now, there's not really any gaps here that you have to worry about when you look at it straight on. Not bad. Same thing with the back. There's not a whole lot you have to worry about. So it is very compatible. The only thing I would really, if I'm really being picky, is that this seat is, of course, a little bit lighter black than the original Fatboy seat, but really that's not a big deal for me. And I have had this seat out on a nice long ride, and I had no issues with it whatsoever. I didn't scoot my butt around once. So it is much more comfortable, and I'm not going to lie to you and say that this is, the best seat out there that you can buy, the most comfortable seat. But for me, you know what? It works quite well, at least so far, and I like the styling of it. And I haven't really seen anybody put one of these on a Fatboy, so I thought that'd be a little different to try out too. But anyway, that's it for today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and until next time, we will see you later.